These are 7 inches by 7 inches. There's a separate video tutorial for my gorgeous crochet butterfly. So you can make this butterfly, and it's made the same way. You make the butterfly and then you attach it to the granny square. And then here's another example of another butterfly that I made. They're a lot of fun to make. They look hard to make, but they actually aren't that difficult to make. And then here's just an example if you want to use a different flower. This is my double crochet cherry blossom flower. I have a separate video tutorial for that. And again, I made the granny square separate and then just placed the cherry blossom flower on there. For this video tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to make this beautiful flower, and we're going to make the granny square separately. Then you can take and sew the flower onto the granny square. So this is just another design that I have in my granny square design series. I'm making these for Julie's Afghan. She's making a couple of Afghans for charities for the year 2018. So if you're interested in helping us with making these Afghans for charities, and you're making one of these, or my butterfly one, there's a separate video tutorial for the butterfly one, please contact me and I will let you know all of the details. For this crochet project, I'm using my 4mm crochet hook, as well as a tapestry needle and a pair of scissors, and we're making these granny squares 7 inches by 7 inches for the charity Afghans. But if you're not using it the 7 by 7 for the charity Afghans, you can make them larger or smaller if you want. I'm just using some of my leftover yarn that I have. This one is a Sparkle White by Red Heart yarn. I also have a lavender or light purple, pastel light purple by Impeccable Yarn. I also have a Sparkle Pink by I Love This Yarn. Here's some information about this yarn. The color is Pinky Toes. I also have my Grape Sparkle colored. This is Red Heart Party yarn. I have I Love This Yarn Neons. This color is Purple Neon. Here's some information about this yarn. So you can use whatever fun colors that you want with similar yarns. I also have my Fuchsia Sparkle by Red Heart Party yarn. So you can see the colors that I used with this one. I started with my lavender, then I used my Sparkle, Grape Sparkle yarn, Party yarn, and then the Fuchsia. But I'm going to make a different color on video tutorial. So we're going to start with the center of the yarn, and I'm going to use my Sparkle White to start with. We're going to start with a magic circle. So you just take the yarn, drape it across your 4 fingers, use your thumb to stabilize, then wrap the yarn around your 2 middle fingers, and then hold it in place with your pinky and your thumb. Then just take your crochet hook, go under those 2 loops around the middle fingers, bring up a loop, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through the loop for a slip knot. Then you're going to go under those 2 loops again, bring up a loop, make a single crochet, then you're going to chain 2. 1, 2. This is going to count as your first double crochet into the ring, and you're going to need a total of 14 double crochet into the ring. So you just yarn over, go into the magic circle, bring up a loop. You have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, go through 2 of the loops, 2 loops remaining, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through the 2 remaining loops to complete a double crochet. So now I have a total of 2 double crochet, yarn over, go into the magic circle, bring up a loop, make your double crochet, and now I have 3. So I'm going to make one more with you, yarn over, go into the magic circle, bring up a loop, complete your double crochet. So go ahead, finish a total of 14 double crochet into the magic circle and then come back. After you're finished making 14 double crochet into the magic circle, then you just take your forefinger and thumb and just hold the base of the 14 double crochet. And then you have the 2 loops on the opposite side. You're going to grab one. If it doesn't close, let go and pull on the other one. Then take that loose yarn end and pull on that. And then just turn your work, and you can see how it's forming a circle. Go ahead and go into that top stitch of that first double crochet that you made. And we're going to make a slip stitch. Go ahead and yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. And at this point you can take and turn the work over and pull on that loose yarn end to close the center of the magic circle. Now you can take and change colors. I'm going to use my light pink sparkle colored yarn now. So I'm going to bring up a loop, chain 1. Then you can take and lay your work down, cut the previous colored yarn, then take and just tie a knot. And then you're ready to work with your new colored yarn. So the first thing that you're going to do is chain 3, 1, actually chain 4, so I made 1 chain, 2, 3, 4. Then in the same stitch we're going to make a popcorn stitch. So you just yarn over, go into the same stitch, and I'm going to go behind my loose yarn ends and just bring up a loop. You want to bring the loop up to the size of a double crochet, yarn over again, go into the same stitch, bring up a loop, and again bring up a loop to the size of a double crochet, yarn over again, go into the same stitch, bring up a loop to the same height. Then you're going to yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and then go through only 4 of the loops. You have 2 loops remaining, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through the 2 remaining loops. Then in the next stitch over, you're going to make a treble crochet. So just yarn over twice, go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop. Now you have 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through 2 loops. 3 loops remaining, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through 2 loops. 2 loops remaining, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through the 2 remaining loops. Then you're going to yarn over, go into the same stitch, bring up a loop, and then bring it up to the height of a double crochet. yarn over, go into the same stitch, bring up a loop and bring it up, bring the loop up to the same height, run yarn over, go into the same stitch, and then bring up another loop. Then you're going to yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through all of the loops except for one. Then you have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through both to complete the popcorn stitch. And you're going to repeat this pattern all the way around back to the beginning. I'm going to make one more set with you. So I'm going to yarn over twice. I'm going to complete a treble crochet into the next stitch. So I'm going into the next stitch, bring up a loop, complete my treble crochet, and then I'm going to yarn over, go into the same stitch, bring up a loop, bring it up to the height of a double crochet, yarn over, go into the same stitch, bring up a loop, yarn over, go into the same stitch, bring up a loop. So we're doing that 3 times. Then yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through all of the loops except for one. Then yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through the 2 remaining loops. And you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the beginning. So this is what my work looks like after I finished making it all the way back to the beginning. I'm going to make a slip stitch into that top stitch of that first chain that I made for the round. And then I'm ready to join my next color, or my new color. So I'm going to be using this deep purple color. So I'm going to bring up a loop and then just join the yarn just like I did before. So I'm going to cut the previous colored yarn. And then I'm just going to take and tie a knot. And then you're ready to crochet with your new color. Now for this next round, you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to make 4 double crochet into the same space between your treble and the popcorn stitch. I'm just going to bury my loose yarn ends a little bit. So I'm just going to yarn over, go into that same space between the treble and the popcorn stitch. I'm going to go behind my loose yarn ends, bring up a loop, and then just make a double crochet. I'm going to make a total of 4 double crochet. This is my second. Third and fourth. Then I'm going to slip stitch into the same stitch. You go into the same space, yarn over, and then bring the yarn through the space and the loop on the hook for a slip stitch. Then you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to go into the space of the next treble and popcorn. You want to go between the treble and the popcorn. So you just yarn over, go into that space between the treble crochet and the popcorn stitch, bring up a loop, and make a double crochet. And you're going to make a total of 4 double crochet in that space. Then you're going to make a slip stitch into the same space. Then you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and repeat. So now the next space between the treble and the popcorn, you're going to make 4 double crochet. And you're just going to keep repeating this all the way around back to the beginning. So now, after I finish my 4 double crochet, I'm going to slip stitch into the same space. So I'm going to yarn over, bring the loop of yarn up through the space and up through the loop on your hook for a slip stitch. Then you're going to chain 3 and repeat. So go ahead, finish making this last round of petals, and then come back. So I just finished my last petal and I made a slip stitch into the same space. Now you're going to slip stitch into the top stitch of that first chain 3 that you made. So go into that top stitch of the first chain 3 that you made and just make a slip stitch. So just yarn over and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook. Then go ahead and finish off, just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. And then you finished your flower. Go ahead and just bury the loose yarn ends on the back of the flower. Just take your tapestry needle and you just kind of weave it through the back of the flower. And I usually bury mine in the same colored yarn as the loose yarn end. So now I'm going to show you how to make the granny square backing for your flower. We're going to start with the center, and I'm going to use my white sparkle colored yarn to start. We're going to start with the magic circle again. So just go ahead and drape the yarn across your 4 fingers and then wrap the yarn around your 2 middle fingers. We're going to make the slip knot first, just like we did before. And then just go in there under the magic circle, bring up a loop, and you're going to make a single crochet and then chain 2. Same thing that we did before. So that's going to count as your first double crochet. So this time we're going to start with a total of 20 double crochet instead of 14 like we did for the flower. So for the granny square start, you're going to start with a total of 20 double crochet into the magic circle and then come back. After you finish making the 20 double crochet into the magic circle, you can go ahead and close the magic circle. Then you're going to turn your work to make a slip stitch into that top stitch to join into a circle. And then at this point you can turn the work over and kind of close the center of the magic circle. And you can change colors if you want. I'm going to make one more round using my white sparkle yarn, but you could change colors just like we did with the flower if you wanted to. So to start, because we have 20 double crochet, we need 4 corners. So 4 divided into 20 will give you 5. So on every 5th stitch, we're going to make a corner. So the first stitch, you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. That's going to count as your first double crochet. So now into the next stitch. So you don't want to miss your first stitch. This is the first double crochet. So here you can see my first double crochet in the next stitch. That's going to be the second double crochet. So you're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch for your third double crochet, next stitch for your fourth, and then the 5th stitch is going to be the corner stitch. So now we're going to make a corner stitch. So we're going to make a treble crochet, yarn over twice, go into that next stitch, the 5th stitch, bring up a loop, and then you're going to make a treble crochet. So just yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through 2 loops. Yarn over, go through 2 more, yarn over, and then go through 2 more. Then you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Then you're going to make another treble crochet into the same stitch. So yarn over twice, go into the same stitch, bring up a loop, and complete another treble crochet. And then you just completed your first corner stitch. Then you're going to make 1 double crochet into the next 4 stitches. And then you're going to make another corner stitch. So you're going to make a treble crochet into the 5th stitch, chain 3, and a treble crochet into the same stitch. And then you're going to repeat this all the way around back to the beginning, and then you should have a total of 4 corner stitches to make a square. So I just finished my 4th corner stitch, and that brings me back to where we started. I'm going to make a slip stitch into the top stitch of that first chain 3 that we made. So the top stitch of that first chain 3, just yarn over and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Then you're going to go into the space, the next space. So here you can see how I have my corner stitch. So this is my corner stitch. So this is the treble crochet. This is the first double crochet that I slip stitched into. You're going to go into the space between. So here's the treble, double crochet, and space. You're going to slip stitch into that space. So take your crochet hook, and then you're going to go into that space, and then you're going to make a slip stitch. So yarn over and then bring the yarn through the space and the loop on the hook to complete a slip stitch. So now you're going to join your new colored yarn. So my next color is going to be the light pink color. So I'm going to bring up a loop, chain 1, then I'm going to take and cut the previous colored yarn. I'm going to tie a knot, and then you're ready to crochet with your new color. So you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to make 2 more double crochet into the same space. So yarn over, go into that same space, go behind your loose yarn ends, bring up a loop, and complete a double crochet. And then you're going to make 1 more double crochet into the same space. Then you're going to chain 1. Then you're going to take and skip 2 double crochet, and then work in the space between the next double crochet and the treble for the corner. So you're going to skip 2 double crochet and work in that next space. So just yarn over, go into that next space after skipping 2 double crochet, bring up a loop, and make your double crochet. And then you're going to make a total of 3 double crochet into that same space. And then you're going to take and chain 1. And then that will bring you into your first corner space. So go ahead and go into that chain 3 space of the first corner, and you're going to make 3 double crochet into that space. Then you're going to chain 2, 1, 2. Then you're going to make 3 more double crochet into the same space to complete your first corner space for this round. So So I'm going to make one more side with you, since you know how to make your corner space now. Now you're going to skip the next treble and double crochet to work into that space, that next space. So yarn over, skip the next treble and double and work into the next space. Bring up a loop, make a double crochet. You're going to make a total of 3 double crochet into the same space. Then you're going to chain 1. You're going to skip 2 double crochet and work into that next space. And then you're going to chain 1. And that brings you to the next corner. So you're going to work it the same pattern all the way around back to where you started and then come back. This is how my work looks after finishing this round. Now I'm going to make a slip stitch into that first chain 3 that we made. So you go into that top stitch of the first chain 3 to make a slip stitch. Then you're going to slip stitch into the next stitch, and you're going to slip stitch until you get to that first chain 1 space. So once you're in that first chain 1 space, then you can change colors. So go ahead and change to your next color. Mine's going to be the neon purple. Then you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, make 2 more double crochet into the same space. Then you chain 1, and then in the next chain 1 space you're going to make 3 double crochet, chain 1, and then that brings you to your first corner space. So you're going to make the corner space the same way, 3 double crochet, chain 2, and then 3 double crochet in the same space to complete your first corner for this round. Then you're going to chain 1 again, and then you're going to go in the first chain 1 space and make your 3 double crochet. Then you're going to chain 1 again, and then go to your next chain 1 space and repeat. So you're going to make the corners the same way, and then this is how you make the sides, and then come back. So this is what my last round looked like. It's turning out really gorgeous. Now for my next round, I've already joined my new color. Don't forget to slip stitch into your chain 1 space before you join. Then when you join your new color, just chain 3, and then the same way as you made the previous round, you're going to take and make 3, a total of 3. So that first chain 3 counts as your first double crochet, and then you make 3, total of 3 double crochet into the same chain 1 space, then chain 1, and then in every chain 1 space you make 3 double crochet into the same space, then you chain 1, and then that brings you to your corner space. The corner space is made the same way, 3 double crochet, and then you chain 2, and then 3 double crochet, and then you completed your corner stitch. And then you repeat that all the way around. Next chain, chain 1, Next, chain 1 space, 3 double crochet, and then chain 1. So go ahead, repeat this pattern all the way around back to the beginning. And then for my last round, I used my Grape Sparkle Party Red Heart yarn. So you could continue making the granny square as large as you want, but if you're making the 7" by 7", this is where you would stop after this round. But you can see how you just continue and it keeps getting larger and larger, and you can keep making it all kinds of fun colors. Then after you finish that last round, go ahead and make a slip stitch to join the round, and then you can just finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury the loose yarn end. So go ahead, bury all of your loose yarn ends. Now just take the same colored yarn as the center of your flower, put it onto your tapestry needle, and then you want to place the center of the flower over the center of the granny square. Make sure that it's centered before you start sewing it in place. Then you can take your tapestry needle from the wrong side, go through the center of the granny square, and then up through the center of the flower. And then you're just going to sew around. Make sure that you leave enough of a loose yarn end for tying a knot. And then you're just going to make stitches across the front. I'm going to tie a knot on the back. Make sure that you don't sew your flower on crooked. Then you can just take and sew the flower in place onto the granny square. And this is what it looks like when I'm finished. This is what it looks like on the wrong side and the right side.